Thank you, First Minister, and thank you, Cabinet. My question tonight is, yes, Scotland's future, but Arbroath's future as well, and the future of the military here. We have Keith Brown here, who's an ex-4-5 commando military man. And at a meeting just a few weeks ago at Condor, the new CO did say that the Army, Sphinx Battery, are leaving next August. That's deeply alarming for the people of Arbroath, because that's the economy of Arbroath. But not only that, the CO then added in front of the SNP Provost that after the 18th of September, there may be no more 4-5 commando. So can this Cabinet give a declaration that after 70 years of Condor, HMS Condor and Condor, there is going to be a military base here, a declaration that it is going to stay and the economy of Arbroath will remain the same? Thank you.
Well, as you rightly say, we have our Veterans Minister, Keith Brown, who served in the Armed Forces and therefore is best placed to answer that question. I'm going to get John to answer national insurance, and then I'll address the lady's question in the front row. Keith.
Thanks very much. I should say it's some time since I was stationed in Arbroath at 4-5 Commando. It's changed quite a bit in the meantime. But right throughout that period, the future of 4-5 Commando, in fact, the entire Corps of Royal Marines has been in some doubt. You may remember in the 1980s, certainly when I was there, Margaret Thatcher wanted to abolish the entire Corps of Royal Marines. And really that's been the history. We're now down to around 11,000 Armed Forces personnel in Scotland. Not quite an all-time low, but it's very low, and we've taken a disproportionate share of those cuts here in Scotland. We've advocated the retention of 4-5 Commando for some of the reasons that you've mentioned previously. But it's also our position that we would retain the bases that we currently have in Scotland and seek to increase the armed forces. 11,000 is too small, in our view, for the needs of an independent Scotland. We believe we should have around 15,000 armed forces personnel, with 5,000 reserves on top of that. And not only that, if you think about the Marines in particular, our real need is to have an increased maritime presence. There is not a single, has not been for many years, a single major Navy surface vessel in Scotland. The UK has stopped doing the air patrols over the northeast of Scotland, taking on Russian incursions and so on. We don't have the defence that we need just now, and what we're going to get instead, if we have a no vote, is over £100 billion being spent on a Trident submarine system that even the senior forces personnel don't want to have. I know my ex-colleagues in 4-5 Commando have served in Afghanistan and have not had the helicopter support they need, have not had the personal equipment they need. Some of their colleagues have been handed their P45 whilst they're on active service in Afghanistan. So what we've said is there will be no compulsory redundancies for the armed forces in independent Scotland. If you make that extraordinary commitment to join the armed forces, you should have an extraordinary commitment back, which should mean, whilst you're in active service, while you're committed to a contract, the government should not end that contract. And it's not just, of course, the individuals, it's their families, as you'll know well enough here in Arbroath as well, who are affected by this. So what I see is an expanding role for the armed forces in independent Scotland, one which looks after the things we need looked after, our coastline, our oil rigs, and the things around the coastline which have to be protected, for example, from drugs and other things. And those things are not being done just now, so there's more than enough room to keep the bases that we already have and to increase the armed forces personnel in Scotland.